Oh, the winter is a-comin', I can feel it in the wind. I can feel its sharper edges in the morning when it comes. I can see that fall is done as the leaves come tumbling down. There's a coldness in the air, I can feel it everywhere. It's a winter in the heart, which chills me to the bone. I can see it in the faces of the hardened heart people that I pass who stare so blankly down, 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 down we go into the cold, cold snow. Adaptation and acclimation. These are not just physical concepts, but spiritual. The question really is, are we attempting to adapt the world to us or ourselves to the world? I can tell you which one works better and which one actually works. To try to adapt the world to yourself, it doesn't work. What you end up doing is creating an ever smaller and smaller shrinking world where you have to start to exclude everything that you cannot adapt, which the further you go down that path, the more things you have to exclude, until you are in such a small-minded echo chamber world that you can't even stand the people that claim to believe the same things as you. There's infighting, backbiting, where we begin to devour one another, all because we do not understand the spiritual principle of adaptation and acclimation, right? Wanting to adapt the whole world to me will eventually cause me to eliminate the whole world except for me, to create a world of extreme introversion. And guess what? I can't even stand myself in that kind of world most of the time. Because my body isn't going to be doing what I want. My mind sometimes, my emotions. Like, if you think that you need to control everything outside you in order to feel good and experience goodness, you won't. Even your very heart and mind and body at times, you will have to exclude, because they're not doing what you want or what feels good, right? This is like the struggle of our age, guys. We don't feel good and we're struggling with anxiety and depression and anger and frustration and disenfranchisement, and the whole world seems isolated, introverted. Extreme separatism abounds. Why? Because we're trying to adapt the world to us, and we don't even fit the, flippant, fickle version of the world that we happen to hold at whatever time, right? We can't even be consistent in our desire for things. So how can we possibly adapt the world to our desires when our desires themselves aren't even stable. Right? I see this, people reaching for something just to feel good for a moment. And the moment's gone and it wasn't that good, and we grow deeper in our despondency, our discouragement, our disenfranchisement, our disillusionment, all because we don't understand the spiritual principle of adaptation, which is that we should be ever more adaptable to everything around us. It doesn't mean that we don't have a stance or strong values or strong ethics, morals, views. It means that we know how to move in a world that is not going to bend to us, not by bending to it, but by moving through it fluidly, by doing the divine dance, moving around people and their egos and their strong opinions without needing to punch them in the face all the time with us, with me. Well, I'm here and you need to look at me and you need to hear me and you need to see what I think about this and you need to know my opinion on that. And, right? Because what? Because everything should be according to what I want and everybody should be focused on me. That's the opposite of acclimation. Acclimation is, I'm going to be in the world, whatever it is, and I'm not going to have to do anything about a world that isn't what I want, that isn't me. It really is the beginning of the opposite of self-consciousness and self-focus. Well, it doesn't matter what the world is. I actually know who I am. I am immovable, and therefore I do not have to worry about the world adapting to me, because I don't need it to, because I'm so comfortable in who I am. I know who I am. I don't have to voice it, push for it, put it in people's faces. I can simply move, sway, dance, and flow with the world, around the world. It doesn't matter. It's not that I don't know who I am, or that I'm changing who I am in every circumstance. No, that's not what adaptation is about. It's about being able to, without changing who I am, adapt to every circumstance, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, right? It's like I can handle whatever comes. I don't have to move it or change it, and I don't change myself, but I know how to be with things, people, circumstances, environments, as they are, as I am, without needing to change either, right? I'm not going to change myself to fit the circumstances. I'm not going to change the circumstances to fit myself, but I'm simply flexible in the midst of all these circumstances, because who I am isn't so rigid anymore. It's not so legalistic and so hard-nosed and so stiff-necked and stubborn-minded, right? Without needing to change anything about myself, I can simply be in the world and let the world be what it is and just adapt to my surroundings and be comfortable and actually experience good things and goodness no matter what's going on around me. Part of this entails the ability to walk with people not like you and be with people not like you without being angry or upset. Being able to love people well where they are, as they are, without feeling like it's compromising me. Guys, I see this all the time with Christians. It's like, well, I can't hang out with those people because they believe that, and I can't. If I'm around those people, people might think that I agree with them, or I don't. I've got to make sure people know what I approve of and disapprove of, right? Because that's how God is, right? Right? He can't walk with us as we are. He has to make sure we know everything we're doing wrong all the time, right? No, not at all. God walks with us in our extreme brokenness, despite the fact that we are very much unlike God. Why? Because He's adaptable and flexible. Because He can be with a whole great, big, broken world that is not very much like Him at all, without needing to change all of it all of a sudden, right? God can come in and just be with us, love us right where we are, in order to walk with us, in order to walk us to a better place. You know, guys, there are millions of things in you and with you that are absolutely the opposite of God. God comes in first and just is able to be with you in your circumstances. This is Emmanuel, God with us. This is Jesus putting on flesh, entering our mess, in order to walk with us and love us back to life. Not coming to condemn or condone, but to simply be with us, to take us by the hand and lead us to a better place. Well, guys, are you going to follow somebody that comes in screaming in your face, calling you dirty names and telling you you're a terrible person? And then you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is the person that I think wants to lead me to a good place and help me. No. Love. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So, guess what? It takes a long time to get to know somebody, them to get to know you, in order for them to know that you really care about them, in order for them to trust that you want to help them get to a better place, even for them to know that you actually have things that are better and can help them get to a better place. Guys, just like, I don't know what's happened to evangelism in the church. It's turned into browbeating, Bible thumping, and beating people up for being sinners, instead of knowing how to meet people where they are, be with them where they are, love them where they are, walk with them where they are, see what things are stirring in their heart through the Spirit, and be able to help them sort through those things. And that, guys, that is such a long-term, long-time effort and purpose and plan. Building relationships takes time. It doesn't grow church numbers fast. It doesn't grow church budgets fast. It doesn't grow the mega church fast. But it can really make a difference in a few people's lives over a long term period. Right? We've basically forsaken the way of Jesus for easy numbers and easy statistics and easy growth that isn't really kingdom growth and kingdom work. It isn't really helping people know Jesus, follow Jesus. Right? Like Peter wrote, live such good lives among the pagans that, though they accuse you of wrongdoing, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day He visits us. Peter doesn't say, preach such good sermons, call people sinners in such a good way, make them feel bad, make them know that they're sinners, make sure they know how bad they are, and then they'll love you, and then they'll glorify God. No, he says, live good lives among the pagans. That though they accuse you of wrongdoing, meaning though they see your strange way of life and go, that's just stupid, who believes that crap? But when God shows up in a moment, and it doesn't just mean at the end, but when God shows up in their life, they'll go, you know what? Those stupid Christians that I thought were so foolish, I think they're right. Wow. Something just happened, and it wasn't what I understand or expected, and it was something spiritual, and now I get it. Now I think, wow, those people know what they're talking about. But trying to win the argument, right, and prove people wrong and prove people to be terrible, trying to bring conviction to people through our abusive language and critical heart, that's not going to help them when God shows up, right? That's not living a good life. That's trying to talk a good talk, not walk the good walk, which is the good way of Jesus, right? Live a good life. Be a good person. Do good to others. Love them well. This is the funny thing, guys. Jesus loved people well, walked with people. He hung out with people. He hung out with the sinners and the gluttons and the drunkards, as the Pharisee said. And guess what? Guess who he criticized the most? Not the sinful, unreligious, but the hyper-religious, super pious Jewish leaders. Those are the people he criticized the most because he knew they were the furthest from God. Same damn things happening in the church today, guys. We got leaders and congregates just criticizing everybody for being so unholy, so evil. It's not what Jesus did. It's not what we should be doing. Why? Because we don't know how to live a holy life, to have an interior holiness that allows us to be in the world, to be adaptable, to acclimate. You know, when the Jews were carried off into Babylon, you know what the prophets said? What God said to the prophets? Hey, settle down, plant vineyards, pray for the peace of your city, do good, work for the success of the people that have enslaved you, carried you off, defeated your armies, killed your young men. Like those people, go live in their country, do good for them, be good to them, pray for their success. Why? Because you live in the same world they do, right? Guys, we can't tear down the secular world around us and then think the world around us is going to be something good for us. We work for the good of everybody, and we work to be good to everybody, and that's how we show the love of God. And then they will want to know why we are so different. Like the world, guys, the world knows how to treat the people that are like them well, and the people that aren't like them not well. The church and Christians should be the opposite. We know how to treat people the most unlike us very well. Jesus said, what you do to the least of these, you do to me. Why? Because the least and the lowest, the people the most unlike you, right? Because that's relative. The people the most unlike you, and the people that you have the hardest time treating well, if you can treat those people well, you're like Christ. Then you got it. And then you can show them Christ. And then they can see it like, wow, I would have expected that person to treat me very badly because I'm so much the opposite of them, but they didn't treat me badly. And so, man, maybe there's something to what they're saying. Maybe they really are loving. Maybe they really have this God, Jesus person in their lives, and they're really, because they don't live like the world. They don't treat me like the world treats me, and they don't treat me like I treat them. Right? Like, we're so caught up in making sure everybody knows our ideological, religious philosophies, right? Because we think that's how we're going to set ourselves apart. No, you set yourself apart by your character, by how well you love people. And when you love people well, they'll want to know why. And then you have the opportunity to tell them why when they come to you. And that's the point, guys. Love people well, treat people well. They will come to you. They will want to know why, because that's not how they are. Jesus said, even evil men know how to give good gifts to those that love them. Whoa. Evil people can do good to the people that do good to them. That's, wow. So you ain't doing anything if you just know how to treat the people most like you well. You ain't doing anything more than an evil person. Maybe you're an evil person if that's all you know how to do. That's not what Jesus did. Why? Because he was... Why? Because he understood acclimation and adaptation. Not that he changed anything about himself because he was sinless and perfect and lived a perfect life, but that he knew how to blend in anywhere and everywhere. He knew how to teach people, reach people where they were, to talk to people from where they were, to understand where they were and where they are. That's what we need to be doing too. Think about it, guys. Look at the natural world. When it's winter, the natural world responds to the season of winter. The trees lose their leaves, the grass turns brown, it goes dormant, animals hibernate. Everything adapts to its environment. When it's spring, the flowers bloom, the grass greens up, the animals come out. When it's summer, they eat from the trees. When it's fall, the squirrels store their nuts. It's like everything around us, guys, is adapting and acclimating to the world except us. When it turns winter, we turn up the heat in our house and make it feel like summer. When it's summer, we turn up the cool in our house and make it feel like winter. Because what? We have to adapt everything to whatever we feel like in every moment. That creates weak, small-minded, petty, easily aggravated people who don't know how to love the least and the ones the most unlike themselves. Christians should be different. We should be different. We're not different. That's a problem. What's up, sweetie?
Hi.
What you doing?
I was going to ask whenever you're done with your phone, can I use it?
Mm-hmm. I'm done now. See ya.
See ya.
Would that we were more like Jesus. That we were doing the things that Jesus did. Living the life that Jesus did. Think about it, guys. Jesus roamed the country. Where did he stay every night? Who knows? Did he need to have an air-conditioned house and comforts and a toilet and a stove and a microwave and a cell phone in order to be comfortable and everything be right? He was adaptable. He knew how to be with sinners. He knew how to talk to Pharisees. He knew how to talk to Greeks and Gentiles and women and men and slave and free. He knew how to adapt and be what every moment required. As Paul said, I've become all things to all people so that by all means I might win some. He's not saying he changes his core beliefs, his personality to fit people. He's not saying he's to be a people pleaser and a chameleon. Paul's saying, guys, we meet people where they are. We love people where they are. We help them and walk with them where they are. And it doesn't matter about us because we know how to adapt. And we can be uncomfortable in order to help others be comfortable. And we can sacrifice our ego and our need to be heard in order to listen to others, in order to love others. We can set aside our need to get what we want and to feel loved in order to love others. Why? Because we have the love of God. And when you have the goodness and love and presence of God, nothing else is lacking because we have everything we need in God. Amen.